phases of the professional cycle in the activity of an adult educator. The conversation about what a project is seems to be started with the fact that the word project today is one of the most popular in the world. People of all ages, starting from elementary school, implement projects. Adults in all possible areas of activity work using the project approach as the most important tool for improving life around. What is important? Any project begins with the positive intentions. At the implementation stage, the project is developing in different ways. Sometimes the finest intentions either do not receive support or something goes wrong. As an illustration where we meet all the important elements and project actors, I'll cite an episode from the famous story about Winnie the Pooh. In the Russian animated film, the story Eeyore has a birthday looked like this. In order for a positive end not only in a fairy tale but also in life and project implementation, it's necessary to consider the most important phases of the project. Now we move from the fairy tale to an educational project. To ensure sustainable and consistent achievement of the goal, we'll consider the main phases of the project: needs assessment, planning, process, organization and implementation, and evaluation. As said before, project focus on the interests and deficits of target group. By the end of the project, life of those who belong to this concrete group should be changed and improved. That is the common rule. I'd like our discussion to be as close to real life as possible, so I propose to discuss the topic based on the specific educational course. What educational project can be close not only to poor Eeyore but to each of us? I think the topic of happiness excites people, especially now when the whole world makes attempts to overcome the crisis and each person is looking for his own path to happiness. So decided, the theme of our educational project is happiness. We have the opportunity to follow all the stages of the project using this topic as an example. Perhaps during the lecture you'll produce ideas for implementation in your practice. You're welcome. If you currently have other priorities in your professional activity, then you can compare the issues under discussion onto your own activities. Anyway, let's call exercise happiness project. We don't plan to develop the course content during the lecture, but sometimes we can touch the topic. Happiness is not a state, but a path, an illuminated path. So the symbol of the education project happiness arises in the presentation when we turn to the topic. The project approach is a well-known, effective tool that works in various fields, including adult education and training. Let me briefly mention the main characteristics of the project. But first is definition. A project is a complex activity of a temporary team of specialists in the conditions of active interaction with the external environment, which is aimed at achieving a clearly defined goal and obtaining a specific result or change in the given period of time using limited resources, finances, material values, intellectual efforts. This is the most complete and general definition. The main features and characteristic invariant in our case, it means that they are universal and applicable to any topic, are: first, goal. Focus on the achieving concrete results according to popular approach to setting working goal, SMART. A goal must be specific, measurable, achievable, meaningful and time-limited. To produce the clearly defined goal, we have to answer the following questions. What result do I want to achieve at the end of the happiness project? What indicator will demonstrate that the goal has been achieved? If we want to teach our participants some techniques, methods that will help them to feel happy, how long does it take for a participant to master the basic line of the happiness, to find exactly their own path, master skills, understand and appropriate information? Is there enough knowledge and experience in our team? Is there access to the necessary resources? How significant is our goal? Maybe everyone is happy without our project. Is the problem recognized in society? Maybe this is not relevant to our culture, or there are some other more urgent tasks. The idea suitable for people in this concrete age, are they okay? Setting a time frame for achieving the goal will allow you to control the process. Are we calculating the time correctly? How long does it take to develop a training program? How many sessions will it take for a person to move to another positive, happy state? And how much effort will it take to reach positive results? You see how many questions we have to answer ourselves, first of all, to formulate a goal. The second key point is problem. Focus on solving specific problems should be identified on the different levels. An example, at the individual level, thoughts, actions and behavior of an unhappy person lead to dependence on circumstances. Real life is replaced by illusions, conflicts grow and become protracted at the level of micro-society. People are not ready to do something for other people in these conditions. If job doesn't become a source of meaning and joy, it doesn't give energy and opportunity for development, then you can't hardly expect impressive results. Unhappy people are more likely to become addicted. The problem goes one step up and becomes a problem for the whole society. Premature mortality is increasing. This is just an example of how the problem are to be formulated. Novelty. Novelty focuses on change, development and creation of something new. It might be an innovative project, that is the introduction of fundamentally new developments, or supporting, improving the efficiency of activities, developing new areas of activity, preserving traditions, introducing some new skills, expanding psychological skills, or whatever. Which is these areas are yours. The next point is locality. We can act in a separate place. The whole world and even one country cannot be covered by the project. Integration. The project corresponds to the goals and missions of our organization. If all of us are members of the goth community, wear black clothes, love horror movies, and are skeptical of traditional culture and norms, then we are unlikely allowed to project dedicated to happiness to be in our goth circle. Conversely, if the organization's mission is to adopt adults to modern realities, self-actualize the people and develop life skills and competences, then the course is most likely for us. Subjectness. The project is implemented by a team with the support of partners, but there is always an author, initiator, who has produced the idea. Uniqueness. Combination of these characteristics in real time shows that it is not routine operation, but a specific set of operations designed to accomplish a goal. Thus, the project is the tool for social changes. It's based on the natural human property to construct reality. We mentally create and plan the future. The problem of approaching happiness can have many solutions, but as the project authors usually believe, our design is the best right now. It fits our culture, it meets the mission and objectives of our organization, and reflects the values and norms of our community. This constructed reality, which is still in the mind of the author of the project, can have a solution in the field of creativity in various forms of art, for example, or self-expression, social practice, when the study of empirical data provides a general picture and a set of solutions, scientific analysis of various sources of information lead to convincing conclusions, and educational hours. How to transform the actual situation in the desired direction. The ways to solve the problem is the idea of the project. We work in the field of adult education, so it's important for us to decide what knowledge do participants need, what skills will help them, what values can they learn or adopt, what practical activities can we focus on. Probably it's hardly possible to answer these questions spontaneously right now, but they are very important and help in further promoting the project idea. How can we sustainably and consistently achieve a goal? Let's look at the picture on this slide. Project development requires a commitment of systematic, iterative process of the needs assessment, design, implementation, and evaluation. There are essentially 4 phases in the project life cycle. First is needs assessment. This part of the project life cycle focuses on the community and identifies the specific issue, problem, or need to be addressed. It aims also to identify the risk factors that help to explain why a problem exists and the protective factors that can contribute to the solution. The next one is project planning, and it is built on the findings of the first phase. It focuses on what educational project is actually going to do and how it will be addressed to the problems and needs identified in the community. Project planning phase includes identification of our project goal and target group description, the objectives that will lead to the goal. We have to establish that the components of the project will be, and that is our broad strategies, different forms of the educational activities. Then we have to describe the project input, that means to answer who and what will be required to operate the project. We have to describe our activities, who will do what and when. The outputs include information about the amount of participants, tools, materials, and products produced. Changes you hope to see will be the project outcomes linked to the goals and these activities. The third is implementation and organization process. This is the phase of the project life cycle where the project comes to life. Implementation is the act or process of putting a decision or plan into action. In the Module 3 and 4 of the Curriculum globALE program, attention is paid to this phase, especially to the usable and applied approaches and methods. To organize implementation process means to focus on target group understanding, infrastructure available, program and lesson planning. And the fourth phase is evaluation. It makes possible in building benchmarks and accountability into activity plan, provides evidence for the achieved results, and importantly contributes to the knowledge base about effective implementation. Planning evaluation comes down to 2 questions. What are the desired outcomes of your project and how will you measure them? Whether the life cycle is described using a flip chart or a text, it's important to remember that the process is not linear. Although each stage of the project are not discrete, these Interrelated steps provide dynamic and flexible guidelines to developing effective projects. Project development is a cyclical process in which the results of one phase become the starting product for the next one. At each step, the project team reflects on activities that have gone before and evaluates successes and needs of course corrections. Described process could be presented like this. How the project development cycle plays out depends on the policy, surroundings of the project, funding requirements, and the project degree of complexity and concrete people, both participants and project team. All these phases of the project cycle we discuss in the following parts of lecture.